suppose let's say z equal to y prime of x. So derivative of x. Okay. Then is there something we can do with y prime to get back y of x? That is okay. Actually, the point of writing z was: is there something we can do with z to get back y of x? Okay, actually, you'll write y prime. So it's understood that you're differentiating with respect to x because it's specified it here. So if z equal to y prime, y is equal to what? Obviously, the inverse differentiation, right? Inverse differentiation, not differentiation of inverse function again. Don't confuse with that. Inverse as in anti-differentiation, I'll call it. Okay, so anti-derivative. So y must be the anti-derivative of z. So there's no we're not saying that it's equal to something we already know. We are defining it to be what is called the antiderivative. We are defining the antiderivative here. So what we'll write is we'll write y is equal to antiderivative of z with respect to x. Again, here I'll use this notation. dy by dx, so that it's clear that it's differentiation with respect to x. So then we say y is the antiderivative of z with respect to x. So this is also called the integral of z with respect to x. So this sign is integration. This is called the integral sign. This is specifying that you're integrating with respect to x. So just like you're differentiating with respect to some variable that you would specify, you have to integrate with respect to x. So this is just the notation for integration. Okay, and this symbol is just actually a stretched out s, stretched out letter s, because the integral is as a formula. If you want to define the integral, you have to define it as a limit of a sum. So s stands for sum there. Okay, that's just the origin of the notation. For us, this is the notation, integration z dx. Now we don't have a formula for this, except as I said, as a limit of a sum, which we will not go into right now. So what we will do is we will compute these integrals of functions from the derivatives of functions. So what does that mean? How do you find, for example, the value of an inverse function like sine inverse of 1? How do you find it? You remember that sine of pi by 2 equal to 1. Therefore, sine inverse of 1 must be pi by 2, right? This is a matter of recalling. You're not using a formula for computing this. You know that sine pi by 2 is 1, and therefore sine inverse 1 equal to pi by 2. But if I ask you what is sine inverse of 1, say sine inverse of 0.9, then you cannot get it without using a calculator. You don't know a formula for computing it. So you can use a calculator and get it, but other than that, there is no way, right? So similarly, to compute an integral, we have to remember all the basic derivatives, and then you have other properties or so-called techniques of integration which allow you to integrate more complicated functions. But again, to begin with, we'll only start by recalling what are the derivatives and then using that fact. So for example, let me give, we know that derivative of x square is equal to 2x. Therefore, what is integral of 2x with respect to x? It must be x square by definition. So this is just like writing sine of pi by 2 is equal to 1. Therefore, sine inverse of pi by 2 is equal to, sine inverse of 1 is equal to pi by 2. So this is exactly the same thing, but with differentiation and anti-differentiation or integration. Okay. Now, if you have studied this before, you may be wondering about the plus c here, which I'll explain later. But let's look at this example. So this is clear. However, I want integration of x dx, because 2x is not really a natural thing to ask about, right? Why is there 2 there? It's more natural to ask what is integral of x dx. But how will I compute this? Do I know a function which, when differentiated, gives x? I know that x square when differentiated gives 2x. But what we want is x, not 2x. So what can we do? Divide this by 2. So if I divide this by 2, I can divide here also by 2. I should divide here also, this LHS also by 2. So if you write divided by 2 here, here also I have to divide by 2. Now this does not match this, because it's half of ddx of something, not ddx of something, right? In order to match this exactly, I need to write this LHS as ddx of some one thing. But here there is a half outside, so it doesn't match this exactly. It's like writing half of sine pi by 2 is equal to half. That doesn't help me get sine inverse of half, right? But luckily, remember that differentiation is a linear operator. So it's also possible to write this inside, correct? So ddx of x square by 2 is equal to 1 by 2 ddx of x square, which is 1 by 2 2x, which is x. So if I write this properly here, I know that ddx of x square is equal to 2x, but that means ddx of x square by 2 is 2x by 2, which is x. Therefore, what do I get? Integral of x is this thing, x square by 2. Is this clear to everyone? Should I explain this again? I hope this is clear. It's just direct application of the definition and what we know. Is this also clear? Okay, then if I generalize this, I can ask for the differentiation of x to the power n, right? You can see that it's a generalization of this. If you put n equal to 1, you should get x square by 2 as the answer. So whatever answer you write here, when you put n equal to 1 there, you should get x square by 2. This is just a general version of this. So again, I start out with the question, what is it that when differentiated results in x power n or something very close? So I can recall that ddx of x to the n is nx to the n minus 1. That's not quite helpful because of this being n minus 1 and not n. So if I need to get n here, I should start with n plus 1 here, right? So discard this and consider ddx of x to the n plus 1, which is n plus 1 x to the n. So now that much is matching. X power n is here. Okay. So far so good. Problem is n plus 1. So how do I get rid of n plus 1? N plus 1 is a constant, so you can divide by it. So here you can write ddx of the same thing divided by n plus 1 must be equal to x to the n, and therefore this answer must be x to the n plus 1 upon n plus 1. And of course, you can always check your answer. If you find an antiderivative, you're not sure of it, you can always check the answer by simply differentiating this. So if you differentiate this, 1 by n plus 1 is a constant. This will be a repetition of this basically. Here you have constant 1 by n plus 1 and x power n plus 1. So x power n plus 1 when differentiated gives n plus 1 x to the power n, which cancels out with the n plus 1 in the denominator to give x power n. So it's valid, it's correct. And you can also check whether this satisfies our earlier prediction. If you put n equal to 1 here, this becomes x to the 2 by 2, which is indeed x square by 2. So this also matches. Okay, so similarly, we'll find the derivatives of many of the elementary functions like e power x and sin x and all that. Before that though, I claim that this answer could very well be x square plus 1. Is that correct? Integration of 2x, antiderivative of 2x is x square plus 1. Instead of asking if that is correct, I'll ask whether that's wrong. Is there anything wrong with this? No, because if you differentiate x square plus 1, obviously you get 2x plus 0, which is also 2x. So it satisfies the definition here. X square plus 1 when differentiated gives 2x. So that is also an antiderivative of this. And that's not really surprising because if you think of sine inverse 1, for example, we said it's pi by 2, but it's also 5 pi by 2. Because sine is a periodic function. If you add 2 pi to theta, sine of 2 pi plus theta is equal to sine theta. So the inverse is not just one value, but several values, infinitely many values. Similarly, tan theta has period pi. So tan of 0 is 0, tan of pi is also 0, tan of 2 pi is also 0, and so on. Even some simple function like x square. What is the inverse function of x square? Square root, right? But remember, that's only one of the inverses. When you say square root, it's plus square root, but that's one. But the minus square root is also a valid inverse. So there are multiple values when you take inverses very often. So similarly, in differentiation as an operator, that is single value. If you differentiate one thing, you get only one. There is a unique derivative, but in the opposite direction, it's not true because it's many to one. Several things when differentiated give you the same thing because the derivative of constant is 0. So if you differentiate x square plus 1 also, you get 2x, x square plus 2, or x square plus pi, or x square minus 5. Any of these when differentiated gives 2x. So the inverse, the actual inverse is not merely 2x, but 2x plus c, where c is a constant. We'll take that convention now. When I write capital C like this, it's a constant. So the actual antiderivative is x square plus c. Similarly here. So you can ask if it's c by 2, but c by 2 is also a constant because c is any constant, can be any value. So c by 2 is also any constant. If you're coming from here to here, thinking of dividing by 2, of course, if you divide this by 2, you get x square by 2 plus c by 2. But that c by 2 is some other constant, which we can call c. Similarly, here also, we have a plus c. So this is the most general antiderivative, where the meaning is that you can put any value here, and you get one possible antiderivative. The reason is that derivative of a constant is 0. So you can add the constant to any antiderivative and get another antiderivative. All right. Now let's look at some more antiderivatives. E power x is one of the simplest ones, because you know that e power x is invariant under differentiation, which means that when you differentiate it, you get the same thing back. So when you integrate it or find the antiderivative, that's also the same, except there's a plus c. But what if I ask for integration of e power 2x dx? Now the answer is not e power 2x, but it's almost the same. Right? It's almost e power 2x plus c is there, but other than that, I mean, is this valid? You can check. What will you get if you differentiate e power 2x? You get 2 e to the power 2x by chain rule, right? So here what should be there? Over here what should be there to compensate for this extra 2? So if I wrote 2 e power 2x here, then this is correct. But that 2 is not there. So how do I get rid of the 2? By dividing by 2, right? So I can write e power 2x by 2, and of course plus c. Is this clear? Very similar to what we had here. Compensate for the extra 2 by taking to the other side or by dividing by 2, right? But more generally, remember that d dx of f of ax is a f dash of ax. Therefore, integral of f of ax dx equal to what? Where I'll write capital F of x is integral f of x dx. Suppose capital F of x, I'm denoting capital F of x, or I'm denoting the antiderivative of small f of x by capital F of x. So suppose this capital F of x stands for antiderivative of f of x. For example, small f of x is e power x, then capital F of x is e power x plus c, or just e power x. Okay. Then what will be integration of small f of ax? So if f of x is this, what is integration of f of 2x, that is e power 2x? Here we see it is e power 2x by 2. So here what should it be in terms of capital F? It should be capital F of ax clearly, but something else, right? Something else should be there. Well, observe this. If you differentiate capital F of ax, what will you get? It will be a f dash of ax, right? But what is f dash of ax? What does this mean? F dash of x is small f of x. So f dash of ax is small f of ax. So I almost get what I want. If I write ax, almost get what I want, which is f of ax, except that there is no a over here. So how to compensate for that? Divide throughout by a. Right? So this answer should be f of ax by a. All right. So integration of f of ax dx is capital F of Ax by A, where capital F of X is the antiderivative of F of X. So this is exactly the uh, counterpart of this property. Okay, this property is a counterpart of this property, and we are obtaining it from that. I hope this is clear. So in general, if we want to find integration of e power ax, this should be what? So if I treat this as f of ax, then f of x is e power x, right? This should all be done in your mind, not on paper. For the first problem, let's look at it by writing it down. So f of x is e power x. So f of x is the antiderivative of e power x, which is e power x. So on this side, I should get f of ax by a. So which is, this is f of x, f of a, yeah, this is capital F of x. So here I should get e to the power ax by a, okay, or that plus c. So is this clear? And again, you can always check by differentiating this. If you differentiate 1 by a e to the power ax, you get 1 by a e to the power ax, which is e power ax, which is indeed this thing. Is that clear? So similarly, can you tell me what will be integral of cos of ax? So firstly, find integral of cos of x. Then integral of sine of ax. So compute these two. Always start with the known derivatives. So what you know is differentiation of sine x. Because you have to recall, where have you seen this as the result of differentiation, right? So you're not going to differentiate this and find something. You're going to think of the RHS in a differentiation formula. So if you differentiate something, you should get cos. Where is that? It doesn't have to be exactly cos ax. You can start with something where cos is present and then adjust it a little bit until you get the correct thing. So differentiation of sin x is equal to cos x, and differentiation of cos x is equal to minus sin x. Okay, these two formulas you remember. So this first one straight away tells you that integration of cos x, or the antiderivative of cos x, is sin x. And therefore integration of cos ax dx is equal to sin ax by a. I'm not going to write plus c from now on. It's understood that the plus c is, whenever we're finding antiderivatives, let it be understood that the plus c is always there. So you can skip writing that. Okay, as long as you understand it, you can skip writing that. It's not very important when you're finding antiderivatives, because it's enough to know one of the antiderivatives. You can always find all the others by adding plus c in general, right? So it's not important. If you're doing solutions of differential equations, then the constants are important. Here it's understood, so you can skip writing. So let's just focus on this part, the non-trivial part. So this is clear. Integration of cos x should be sin x. So that integration of cos ax by the property previously mentioned is sin ax by a. Then from here, what is integration of sin x? It's not cos x, because differentiation of cos x is not sin x, it's minus sin x. So integration of sin x should be cos x divided by minus 1, or in other words, minus cos x. And therefore integration of sine of ax should be minus cos of ax by a. So these are the answers. Okay. So you can remember, when you differentiate sine, you get cos without any additional minus. And when you integrate cos, you get sine without additional minus. When you differentiate cos, you get minus sine. And when you integrate sine, you get minus cos. Okay, so try to remember where it is that the sign appears. So as homework, find the remaining simple integrals or antiderivatives. So integration of secant square ax. So we are not going to integrate tan x right now. That requires more technique, because you can remember that we have never obtained tan x as a derivative of something. We differentiated tan x to get something, but we didn't get tan x itself as derivative of anything. So it's not just a matter of recalling some existing result. Okay. Whereas this one is secant square is similarly cosecant square. This also you just have to remember. Then similarly you have integration of secant ax tan ax. Again, this has to be the same a. If I write secant ax and tan bx, then it's not so easy. Probably you can't even find the integral then. Similarly, you have cosecant ax cot ax. And there is one exception to what we wrote previously. This is clearly not valid for n equal to -1. Right? For n equal to -1, you'll get 0 in the denominator. So that's not correct. This cannot be for n equal to -1. So separately find integration of or antiderivative of 1 by x dx.